Rejoice, soccer fans. Bundesliga is back, but not so fast. This is absolutely a terrible idea, and I'm going to tell you why. I know everybody's excited about Bundesliga coming back. Trust me, I am too. I mean, we have been waiting for something to watch for 2 months, sitting in our rooms watching old games, old footage. I mean, I've been watching everything from 2002 World Cup final to, the most terrible Arsenal defeats you can imagine. I mean, this is what we've had to resort to. So it's very exciting that we will have live, real games that matter, that mean something coming back this weekend. But everything about it just does not feel right to me. And I think it's a terrible idea to actually restart the games right now. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Let's just break down, actually reason by reason why this is so risky. People say, oh, well, okay, Angela Merkel, said that the Bundesliga's got the go-ahead. They're good. If the government is telling us we can play, that's great. That's true, but I feel like with team sports especially, it's just such a specific environment that it's really hard to ensure the team's safety. You're staying in a hotel somewhere. You're all eating at the same place, all being served the same food. You're all riding the bus together on the way from games, practices, the hotel, and back. And every single one of these instances is a place that you can then get infected by somebody. Who are the people that are flying the plane? Who are the people that are driving the bus? Who are the people that are serving the food? The risk is just so high. And when you factor in all those different people, I mean, the chances that somebody gets it when a team is traveling together is very high, regardless of the amount of precaution that you take. And then because of that, if one person gets it, pretty much everybody on the team is going to be subject to it one way or another. There's no way to quarantine somebody on a trip. So I feel like it's just very dangerous for that reason. And then if one of the players has it and they don't know for a couple of days, they play the game, they're probably going to infect at least somebody on the pitch. And then again, the whole system gets compromised because think of how many people you're interacting with, and it's a downhill spiral from there. And here's the other thing too, is that I feel like people talk conceptually about, these players are at risk, but if they get it, they get it. They'll be fine. They're world-class athletes. It goes a little deeper than that. This is something that it's going to affect so many people. And I mean, it's affected me personally. I've had people close to me who have gotten COVID, and you sit there every day thinking about, I don't want to get that call. I don't want to hear the bad news that could be coming out of this. It's a really scary thing. It's a really serious thing. I would be remiss if I didn't at least take a moment to say, please stay inside. The Bundesliga is going to do what the Bundesliga is going to do, but please be responsible. Wash your hands. Stay inside. Don't gather in large groups. Be safe. Be smart about it. It's nothing to be taken lightly. Now, beyond the actual health risk of you could be contracting this virus and it's dangerous for that reason, this is really unhealthy for the players. I mean, we're hearing suggestions that teams will need to go to 5 substitutes. We may need to shorten the games. Teams haven't even been practicing. Some of the teams are just getting back into training now. I know Arsenal's only started about a week or two ago, and all they can do is individual training sessions at the training pitch. Nobody's going to be match fit, even if people have kept up some level of physical fitness. People just aren't going to be in shape for this, and I foresee a lot of injuries. I foresee, a lot of people that are going to, again, need those subs. I mean, I think extra subs is a good idea, but it just shows how dangerous this could be for the players. So I think that's another big concern with the Bundesliga coming back right now. Imagine you're Dusseldorf. Now, this is a team that is 16th in the Bundesliga right now. They don't exactly create a lot of offense. 27 goals so far in the season through 25 games. 11 of those goals have come from this guy, Reuven Hennings. Consider this, okay? The players aren't fit. Dusseldorf plays on Saturday. Hennings gets hurt. Where do you go from there if you're this team? I mean, he is the main source of offense. You're in a relegation battle. Imagine they get relegated at the end of the season. You know how unfair that would feel? Just because he didn't have enough time to train and he didn't, have the abilities to get back to playing when this is all being reopened. So I feel like for the health of the players and for the impact that could have, it's a bad idea. Just everything about this seems like it's going to be a disaster. The biggest game this weekend, Dortmund Schalke, it's a huge rivalry. The people are already so excited about it that the Dortmund mayor had to put out a statement saying, please don't come to the stadium, please don't watch at bars. Like, that is what people do in these games. I remember the last game that I was able to watch, I think before everything got shut down, was the PSG Dortmund Champions League game. It was in Paris. They already had gone to behind closed doors, so no fans were there. But a ton of people showed up outside the stadium. They were lighting off flares. They were in a big crowd. I mean, who knows how many people might have, passed it on at that point in that crowd. And so the fact that Dortmund's mayor has to come out and say that, fans will take it too far. Unfortunately, if we bring back the sport, fans are going to be as crazy as ever. They haven't seen their team play in 2 months, especially for a team like Dortmund. This is the biggest rivalry for them. And, they're still fighting for a top 4 spot. They're still fighting potentially to win the Bundesliga. Fans are going to be crazy. They want to go to the stadium. So the fact that he even had to say that, just shows the amount of risk that we're talking about. And then there's this fact, and this just makes no sense to me. Apparently this week, 2 players on a team called Dynamo Dresden tested positive for coronavirus. So they are scheduled to play a game. They had to cancel it, so they won't be playing. I believe they're supposed to play Hanover, and so now they can't play that game. There's literally teams with players who have it right now, and we're trying to restart games. It just doesn't calculate in my head. The Premier League is talking about coming back June 12th. That would have been when the Euros would start. The Euros aren't going to happen. The Euros are canceled. Nobody's talking about bringing them back. So how is that still in place? But we feel like we can restart leagues. I think it's a bad idea. I think it's irresponsible on the Bundesliga's part. And the bottom line here is that because the Bundesliga is the first one to come back, it's going to influence others to come back, because if teams in the Bundesliga are coming back, they're making money, they're getting all the viewership. Other leagues are going to want that as well. And we've already seen in the past few days, Liga NOS in Portugal has said that it's going to come back. Premier League has this, 1 month plan in place basically to come back. Teams are taking notice. Leagues are taking notice of what the Bundesliga is doing right now. And they're saying if they can come back, we can come back. If they restart, everybody's going to say, oh, the Bundesliga, they wanted to come back. We can come back too. It'll all be fine. But imagine this goes really badly. All of a sudden, everybody's going to be looking at the Bundesliga saying, oh, well, why didn't we see this coming? We came back because the Bundesliga was going to come back, and it's their fault. They did it first. That's how quickly this could turn. I just foresee it going poorly. I don't think this is smart that they're coming back. It just shows that everything these days is about money in soccer. The forces that work behind the scenes, they're basically unstoppable at this point. Teams want to make their money over everything. I mean, look, you're talking to an Arsenal fan. Trust me, I understand. The board wants to make money over anything. They don't want to spend on the team. They just want to keep raking in the cash. It's how the game is these days. It's something that at this point was kind of inevitable. They were always going to try to get them to come back, even when things were looking as bad as they could possibly look during the pandemic. And I guess they've gotten to the point where they feel comfortable enough. So there will be games this weekend. And I'm not going to act like I won't be watching them, because I definitely will. Look, I'm as starved as anybody for some real live soccer. I'm excited for it. Hell, that's the reason I'm putting this video out right now, because I know you guys are looking forward to it too, and you want to hear what people are thinking about it. So, look, I'll be watching this weekend. If you're new to the Bundesliga, Dortmund and Schalke is the game to watch this weekend. It's a huge rivalry. It's a regional rivalry, and then it's very important for both teams. You look at the standings in the Bundesliga. I'm going to pull them up real quick. Dortmund right now is second. They're 4 points behind Bayern at the top, so it's going to be a race for the title. Bayern definitely in front, but Dortmund has a really, really good team, and they'll be fun to watch. So meanwhile, Schalke are in 6th place. They're holding on to one of the Europa League spots right now. There's 2 of them for 5th and 6th place, and they've got a couple teams right behind them nipping at their heels. Wolfsburg and Freiburg are both 1 point off of Schalke, and then Hoffenheim is 2 points behind Schalke. So all those teams are fighting for Europa League. Dortmund is fighting for a title. It's a huge rivalry. That game's on Saturday, and that's going to be an excellent game if you're looking for something to get back into, or if you're a sports fan and you don't watch a lot of soccer. That will be a great introduction, because that game is always good. And as I said before, these teams, they're not going to be in good shape. These games might be, a little sloppy here and there, but I think it might make for some really entertaining soccer because there will be goals galore, mistakes galore. I think the Bundesliga already has a reputation as being a pretty high scoring league. I'd imagine that will continue this weekend. So definitely that Dortmund Schalke game is a game to keep your eye on. But the game I'm looking forward to most is my boys Bayer Leverkusen. I don't really know why I have such an affinity for them. They play really good football, but it's mostly just a team that I really like to use in FIFA. Leon Bailey, Kevin Volland, Kai Havertz. They've got some ballers on their team, and that's the team I'm going to be rooting for this weekend. But I'm curious who you might be rooting for this weekend, because obviously I'm sure there might be some Bayern fans watching. Dortmund is an incredibly exciting young team. And there's a lot of other really interesting teams in the Bundesliga as well. Mönchengladbach, RB Leipzig is really interesting. There's a lot of good players on offer, and if you're a fan of the U.S. national team, tons of American players in the Bundesliga. Schalke, who's playing against Dortmund, one of their mainstays is Weston McKennie, who's a really good holding midfielder. He's a guy to keep an eye on. Maybe you want to root for Schalke. So I'm curious who y'all might be rooting for. I'm rooting for Leverkusen. That's my team in the Bundesliga. They have been for a year or so now, but there you have it. I mean, again, I think this is a bad decision. I would go so far as to say an irresponsible decision by the Bundesliga to come back this weekend. But with that being said, I'm excited to watch it, and I'll be there for every moment of it. But I'm just happy to be back watching soccer, and I can't wait for it this weekend. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure you like this video. That's very important. I want my goal here to be that everybody who watches the video gives it a like. It takes you 2 seconds. Trust me, it will not be an inconvenience to you. All you got to do is click the little button, and it helps me immeasurably. And then also subscribe to this channel. This is something I'm really looking forward to doing, and I hope to do it pretty regularly, especially if soccer is going to come back and continue to be back. So yeah, stay along with me for that ride. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.